Suzy. Maggie and Terry and Suzy Roach. We don't give out our ages, and we don't give out our phone numbers. Give out our phone numbers. Sometimes our voices give out, but not our ages.
The Roches are a trio of singers who happen to be sisters, Maggie, Terry, and Suzy Roche. Maggie and Terry were a duo for 10 years, from roughly 1963 to 1973, before Suzy joined them. And they've been active as a trio under the name The Roches from 1973 all the way up to 2017. They're from New Jersey and are a kind of folk and singing and acoustic guitars with comedy in it kind of thing. Hi, my name's Dan. So this was the first album released by the Roches, which was released in 1979, as you can see in the information, which is 6 years after they became a trio, and that in turn was 10 years after two of them had been having a career as singers as a duo. So this is 16 years on from them starting, two of them starting their musical career. So that's quite a long time before releasing an album. And my first, I thought that this was my first encounter with them. And it's the first encounter that I've known who they are and encountered them. But I have actually heard their singing for years because they sang backing on a Paul Simon song called Was a Sunny Day, which I really like. And so I've known that song for years and I've heard them, but not known who they were or had any contacts for that. So it is my first time listening to this album. Another interesting fact for me, anyway, about this album is that it's produced by Robert Fripp of King Crimson. So on it, he plays some, well, he calls it fripperies, but it's basically his Frippatronics guitar stuff, which is using tape loops to get a continuous sound out of guitars. It also features another King Crimson person, Tony Levin, on bass, but I think there's only one track that I can hear the bass on. And a guy that I don't know the name of called Jim Malin on percussion, and I mention him because there was a point when I was hearing the triangle and thinking, "Oh, that's really nice triangle playing." There's a real skill, I think, to doing good triangle, which is that you sometimes hear it. It's very kind of thing. Anyway, other than those kind of somewhat peripheral things, we've basically got three voices and up to three acoustic guitars, and I don't know how many of them are playing guitar at once. And the focus is on the songwriting here, definitely. It's kind of a songwriter-focused album, but the tight harmonies and the interleaved singing is excellent. They've got a really nice sound. They sound sometimes like there's more than three of them, which I guess is maybe either good production or just deceptive, because three is kind of harder to work out in your head what's going on. They have a kind of almost 40s singing sisters feel at the time, and it kind of reminded me of things like Mr. Sandman and the Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy of Company B. That kind of tight singing, and they have all three of them have different voices. They blend well, but you can hear the distinction between them, which is great. I have to say also, I would say that I think the production on this album is really nice, and it's very understated, and I'm quite pleased with Robert Fripp to have been able to produce this so sensitively. Um, let's go back to the songs. So the writing is basically observational comedy. I'm not sure it's all meant to be comedy, but it has a kind of comedic feel to the whole thing. And the writing is about life situations. So the first song is an introduction to them as a group, and I suspect they used it as an opener for concerts. I would if I were them and I had this song. There's various stuff. I'm not going to list them all. There's a song about an impending trip to Ireland and having a dream about a guitar falling out of the plane and all sorts of things about that. I'm hoping that they have nice food in Ireland, and it's kind of everyday stuff done from that in this kind of slightly comedic way. There's a song about one of them wanting her job as a waitress back, and I think that's possibly Suzy is the focus of this because she was a waitress whilst the other two were singing. I don't know. There's a tendency here to write lyrics that in some ways feel a bit awkward as lyrics done deliberately. And I've come across this with the groups, but they're more like somebody talking. And often it kind of feels like one side of a conversation. Um, and so there's a particular style of writing that this is that follows that. Right. Uh, so what did I think? Well, found it pretty engaging actually. I enjoyed it. It's lyrically amusing. It's musically charming. It's good. It pushed itself up just up into the eights for me. So the in my strata above eight means actually I'd quite like a copy of this in my life, and I think I would with this album. So that's what I think. As always, I'd love to know what you think of this album. So please do talk to me by leaving a comment. That's it from me for now.
Oh, Mr. Selak, can I have my job back? I've run out of money again. Last time I saw ya,